Welcome to Dominant Mets Nation. Hey folks, how's it going? I hope we're all enjoying our 4th of July celebrations. Today's July 5th, and the Mets are coming off, I would say, one of our most disappointing series. I'm going to just say it like that. We had a huge opportunity here. We were playing the Nationals. The Nationals, we know they're not great. It's blatantly obvious. If we are destined to be that team that we envision ourselves to be, we should be winning series against the Nationals. Now, we took the first two games of this series, and in the game three, we were up significantly after Viento's bomb. JD Martinez was leading the lineup as a professional hitter, doing his thing, and Christian Scott was on the mound, and all was looking great. And I highlighted, I said, going into that start on Wednesday, July 3rd, this was going to be extremely huge. Extremely huge. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because down in the minors, we don't have that many pitchers who are being successful. So Jose Butto and Christian Scott were two of our biggest so-called weapons. And we brought them up. Christian Scott was going to be starting. Jose Butto coming out of the bullpen. Great. It was going to be a very important thing for Christian Scott to go out there and have a good quality start, especially after our offense supported him with a good amount of runs. But it wasn't meant to be. And, I can't heap that much pressure on the rookie Christian Scott. But here's the deal. We're in a situation where we're reliant upon these guys. Now, I'll give you a little bit of good news before we get to some bad news. And I'll tell you why, I'm not feeling that great and why there's a tremendous amount of pressure coming up. Okay, so the good news is Koda Senga pitched yesterday. He pitched on Wednesday. He threw 35 pitches for an appearance in High A Ball, Brooklyn. The highest he touched velocity-wise was 97 miles per hour. In two and a third scoreless inning, he struck out 6 guys. So his pitchers were obviously playing, and he was throwing at an elite level, touching, as I mentioned, 97 miles per hour. Kodai Senga is a guy we desperately need. His next start is going to be in AAA Syracuse on Tuesday. We're going to bump him up to 50 pitches, and this is a guy that we desperately need. Like I said, if you look in the minors, there's really not much reinforcements in terms of pitchers that are performing well. I mean, in the minor leagues right now, you got like 2 or 3 pitchers. Brandon Sprout, he's dominating. And then you got another guy, and I think single A ball, Jonah Tong, who has decent pitching statistics. But our other guys, I mean, Blade Tidwell, he's done pretty good ERA-wise. He doesn't have a good win-loss record. But guys like Dom Hamill, horrible, so over 7 earned run average. So in terms of reinforcements, Jose Butto and Christian Scott are the 2 guys right now that need to perform. Okay, so test on Wednesday. Didn't work out. Did not work out. Okay, so we move forward. Offense on Wednesday, even though it was a sad loss because we had our lead. The Nationals had to come from behind to win. Our bullpen didn't do well either. Our pitching suffered. So again, I can't put it on the offense on Wednesday. The pitching, again, blew it. Our young guy, Christian Scott, didn't do as well as I needed him to do. Or we all needed him to do. Plain as simple. Okay, going to Thursday, 4th of July. Again, happy 4th of July to everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Okay, that game was unacceptable. That game was unacceptable for a team fighting, scratching, clawing to be a playoff team. You cannot go out and perform like that. So the one game you get your pitching, you can't hit. Unbelievable. And I know your key cog, JD Martinez, and it really kind of shows you how different the lineup is without JD Martinez. DJ Stewart, a poor man's version of, I don't know, somebody not good. So DJ Stewart is light years away from JD Martinez in terms of what he does for this lineup, but still, we should have had enough to score a couple runs and to salvage the series. That was the thing. Wednesday, okay, we lost. It was a bad loss, but we should have salvaged the series. It was unacceptable to lose 1-0 to the Nationals. Unbelievable, especially when you have the best offense going for the last 5 weeks. Unbelievable. And I'm looking at guys I'm specifically highlighting, and I'm sorry to say, Pete Alonso. And you know, I'm really getting frustrated right now because this team is being carried by guys like Vientos, Martinez, Lindor. In the last couple weeks, Nimmo, and although Alonso has kind of turned it on. We always knew Alonso needed that protection. He needed a better lineup in order for him to produce. Now, is this going to be the peak of Alonso? I mean, you look at it, folks. It's in his contract year. He has the best lineup that he's probably had in his entire career, and yet his average is still 240. His OPS is under 800. And I mean, in my opinion, he's been underwhelming. He's got about 330 ABs, right? He usually averages about 660 ABs. He's got 18 home runs. If you times that by two, I mean, the guy is going to have a season like 35 home runs, projected 90 RBIs, to have an under 800 OPS and bat 240 in a contract year. A year, people were saying, oh, he's going to have an Aaron Judge year. Last year, before he got hurt, he was on pace to hit, around 60 home runs. So I'm expecting, all right, healthy lineup. JD Martinez, contract year. Pete Alonso is going to go off. And this is the type of guy who he needs to carry the team when we have performances like yesterday. And Pete Alonso just isn't really kind of cutting it. It's sad to say, and if you look at Baseball Savant, and people used to do this all the time, put his stats next to Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, in every single statistic except for like baseball whiff and Ks, is like a 98 or 99. Pete Alonso, I think has a 90 in one category. So he's just a worlds apart different hitter. And the reason why I have high expectations of him is because he has high expectations of himself. He hired Scott Boras. He wants to get paid over $200+ million. So you're going to need to produce. That's the bottom line. And based on the way that I think this season is turning out, like, we didn't start winning until guys like Vientos, Alvarez, really started producing. This really did not come from the leadership of Pete Alonso. Sad to say, if Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil were still leading the team, if Vientos didn't come up, if Alvarez didn't, kickstart, his career, we would be having a similar season to last year. So I got to say, I'm highly disappointed in Pete. Although he's got his average above 240, like I said, the OPS is under 800. The slugging percentage is, I think, like 460, 470. That's nowhere near a guy like Pete should be. Nowhere near. Pete should be in the mid 500s for slugging percentage at least. At least. So that's my little rant on Pete Alonso. And I know the offense has been good, but in games like this where you need to take the series, you need your stars to perform. And Pete Alonso, who wants to be paid like a star, is not acting like a star. Okay. All right. Now we backtrack to our main problem, and that is our pitching. Like I highlighted, we don't have much depth in the minors in terms of highly productive pitchers, but we have Koda Senga coming back, and that is going to be our big key. So we need to really track how Kodai is performing in his start. So the first start, 35 pitches, 6 Ks, 2 1/3 scoreless innings. Phenomenal. Freaking phenomenal. So that's my little rant. I'm a little upset about, our last 2 games. And, it is what it is. Wednesday, fine, you had Christian Scott starting, but yesterday, if you want to be a playoff team, unacceptable, completely unacceptable. What do you think about yesterday's performance in terms of our overall aspirations? And does that deter you from feeling how we felt the last couple of days? From feeling, the energy, the excitement? I'm gonna give you my answer. Does it deter? Does it upset me highly? Yes. My thing is I always give opinions. Is it always the most rational take? No, not really. But it's in that moment take. I'm telling you how I feel, and I'm telling you we deserve more, and the team needs to get better. Like my goal, the reason why I always have my perspective, and sometimes it may be irrational, is because my overall goal is to achieve what Steve Cohen promised us, is to win that World Series. And if I see us not even close, or hey, if these practices, or these type of situations are not conducive to a championship team, I'm gonna say, hey, that's obviously not what a championship team does. We don't lose 1-0 when we're supposed to have a prolific offense. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. I don't care if it's the 4th of July. I don't care what holiday it is. I don't care if it's an early start. It is unacceptable if you consider yourself a serious playoff team. Bottom line, bottom line. So I expect us to go forward. We have, I think we have about 10 more games before the All-Star break, and we're not playing any world beaters. We're not playing any world beaters. I expect a 7-3 record. A 7-3 record. We're 2-2. Against the Nationals. They were on a great team. So I mean, we had 14 games after the Astros season. I mean, Astros series. So if we go 7-3 combined with 2-2, that would be a 9-5 record since the Astros. So I mean, at least 7-3. That's my opinion. All right, well, we're gonna end it here. What do you think? Let's hear your comments. Thank you as always. Again, happy 4th of July. Enjoy your weekend, and let's go Mets.